Who can forget the excitement of getting a McDonald's Happy Meal as an American kid? Okay, that colorful cardboard box, the smell of the French fries, and of course, the toy that awaited inside. Maybe it was a toy from your favorite Saturday morning cartoon or the newest blockbuster movie, or even just a little smaller version of a popular toy you already had. Whatever it was, your little kid day was made. Hi, everyone. I'm Dani.
And I'm Katie.
And welcome to Generation In Between, a Xennial Podcast, where we remember, we revisit, and we relearn sometimes all kinds of things relevant to those of us who had an analog childhood and a digital adulthood. Today is a fun episode, and it took me down hours of kind of useless rabbit hole research and nostalgia. Today we are going to talk about McDonald's Happy Meal toys.
Yes.
Woo!
Oh, I have done no research for this whatsoever. All I have is the old memory bank.
That's all you need.
So I am excited.
That's all you need. But before we get started, we just want to take a second to say, if you love our podcast like we do, please, please, please take a second today to rate and review us on whatever platform you listen. All those ratings really do help us greatly, greatly. So please do us a solid. Hook us up with some positive vibes, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Also, you can support us on Patreon and help us keep this podcast going. Plus, you'll eventually have access to some fun things in the future, like maybe some special episodes, maybe some cool merch. I don't know.
Yep.
So let's keep the nostalgia going.
Yes. Love
Right.
it.
So let's dig right in. Okay, so I did do a little research. Full stop confession. My main research for this was like looking up pictures. Because, you know, people today collect all kinds of things, and Happy Meal toys are one that people collect. So there was a lot out there, especially 80s and 90s are like huge right now with the nostalgia, right? We've talked about that before. So there was lots of info on the good old interwebs.
Nice.
So first I want to start by telling you a little bit of Happy Meal history,
Okay.
which interestingly enough and unsurprisingly is not as straightforward as we think. Because hashtag America and
Oh
probably
my gosh.
hashtag capitalism. Yes. But not really. Well, yes. Anyway, here's the history. So who invented the Happy Meal is actually a very tricky question, and McDonald's doesn't really have an official corporate answer. I could not find one. Right? Here's why. So rewind in time back with me to the early 1970s. Okay. There was a female named Yolanda Fernandez Cofino. Her and her husband were owners of a McDonald's franchise in Guatemala. Okay. So the origin of the Happy Meal begins not in America. Yolanda noticed that the menu items that they had were too big of portions for kids. Okay, which checks. She wanted to market her restaurant more as like a family space. So she, on her own, created a kids meal with a smaller hamburger and fry, a sundae, and then a little free small toy. And she called it Ronald's Menu. Okay, so there was no fancy box or like container or anything like that. It was just the smaller portions, and it was a huge success, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So it became super, super popular, and McDonald's corporate eventually asked her to present her idea at the World Franchise Convention in 1977.
Okay.
So a few years go by, and now how they became aware of it, I don't know. Probably the numbers from how much that franchise was making. She also eventually received the Ronald Award in 1982 for her help in creating the Happy Meal. But notice I said help. So she didn't get full credit. So here's some more to the story. This is when patriarchy comes in. We made it not even 5 minutes in the episode. All right. So around the same time in the early 70s, in the American Midwest, McDonald's had a competitor in the fast food world called Burger Chef. Do you remember this? You're from the Midwest.
Yes, they have these in Indiana.
Okay, see, I've never heard of this franchise.
Very popular.
All right, so Burger Chef introduced the Fun Meal, and that had a smaller hamburger, fries, drink, dessert, and a small toy, as well as it was presented in a colorful box covered with cartoons and little puzzles. Okay, kind of like the Happy Meal we know and love.
Yeah.
So enter in this man named Dick Brams. He was a McDonald's ad exec. He worked in St. Louis, Missouri. He saw this from the Burger Chef, and he pitched the idea to McDonald's of making their own Happy Meal. He pitched it to a man named Bob Bernstein. His ad agency handled all the McDonald's advertising in the Midwest region and the Southeast region. Okay. So Dick Brams presented it to Bob Bernstein.
Okay.
Bernstein then pitched it to the corporate McDonald's as the higher up, the man's name, Paul Scrage. These names don't really matter. But the Happy Meal name was eventually trademarked in 1977. Okay. Right around the time that Yolanda was presenting her idea at the World Franchise Convention, I just realized the same year.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, the name was trademarked 1977, and then they launched it only regionally for 2 years in the Midwest. So the Midwest was the first to have the Happy Meal.
Okay.
It was a huge success, and so then they launched it nationally in 1979. Okay.
Okay.
So the very first McDonald's Happy Meal was circus wagon themed. All right. Look up a picture. It's really cute. It came with a standard hamburger, a cheeseburger, as well as French fries, cookies. Y'all remember the McDonald's Happy Meal cookies?
Yes.
Yeah. A soft drink, and of course, a toy. Okay. So interestingly, Dick Brams was named father of the Happy Meal by McDonald's at the time of his death in 1988.
So Dick Brams, who basically lifted this idea, the fun meal, they didn't even try to change the name very much, from a different corporate place. And then there was this woman from Guatemala, this owner, but somehow Dick Brams is the father of the Happy Meal. Okay.
Yeah. So, but,
all right, Dick Brams,
but hold
you
on,
go
because
off.
this ruffled the feathers of Bob Bernstein.
Oh.
All right. So he states that he had already been working on the idea of a Happy Meal for years before Dick Bram even presented the idea to him. Okay. He said he got the idea in 1975 from watching his kid read his cereal boxes while he was eating breakfast. Because, on cereal box, it has all this stuff. So he had already been brainstorming, how McDonald's could recreate that.
Okay. I'm not saying that Dick Bram should be named the father of the Happy Meal, but Bob doesn't really have a very compelling case. Like, it was my idea.
Thought of that.
I was like, I thought of it. I did absolutely nothing about it, but I should also get credit. So, calm down, Bob.
So
I don't think so.
You can decide what you want on who actually originally created the Happy Meal, but there you go. There's your history
Yolanda
lesson.
forever.
Yeah, Yolanda forever. We got you, girl. So yeah, of course it's a mom, right?
Yeah.
Of course it is. So that's just your little background on how the Happy Meal came to be. Okay. That's as in the depths of things as we're going to get today, because the rest is just fun remembering.
Nice.
I am going to have every picture I talk about in our socials.
Awesome.
Okay. So if you don't follow us on socials yet, find us, because you're going to want to see all these pictures.
Yes. And we're just Generation in Between podcast.
Yeah.
Wherever you are looking for us.
So let's talk about the evolution of the Happy Meal toy. Okay. Now, Katie, this is I'm catching you on the fly here, but can you remember your favorite Happy Meal toy ever?
Ooh. Well, listeners, you may recall.
Oh, yes.
I don't really like
That's
playing
why I
with
wanted
toys.
to ask you this. That is exactly why I wanted to ask you this.
When we would get McDonald's as kids, we didn't eat out really ever. There was a period of time in our family, I want to say when I was 3rd or 4th grade, that we would get McDonald's on Friday.
Okay.
For whatever reason.
It was fun.
I just remember we would get it on Friday. Watch TGIF. We were good to go for the rest of the week. And I would not get a Happy Meal.
Okay.
I would get this is going to sound weird, but I actually did like their salads, or I would get a cheeseburger.
You're so
I've never really
refined.
liked it. I know. It's 11-year-old me, no, thank you. But I know my brothers would get them, and I remember this just huge plastic bin full of them for a while. And I remember maybe some from The Lion King. Okay. And I think I like those because I like The Lion King.
Y'all should see her face. She's like, I think I liked those. Yeah, that's right. I did, I think.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. Okay, I was so excited to ask you that because I'm like, oh boy, I wonder if she's even gonna like have a thing. Okay. But now, even though Katie does like to play with toys, she does appreciate looking back on toys. Okay,
I do. I appreciate this. This is fun.
It's a fun thing for her. I'm not like torturing her with this. So, on the flip side, we ate McDonald's all the time. We ate lots of fast. We were the typical '80s family. Also, because I had 2 working parents,
of course,
who eventually separated, then divorced. Whatever. Fast food was part of your life.
Fed is fed.
So I had lots of memories going through these because I loved the Happy Meal toys, and we kind of lived in a time when it was like the heyday of the licensing with agreements with McDonald's. So we'll talk about that. So evolution of the Happy Meal toys. Let's get into it. So in 1979, the first Happy Meal we just talked about, the circus wagon one, there were 6 possible toys. And they were so lame. Okay.
Oh.
They're so lame.
Boo.
They had a stencil, which they called a McDoodler, which basically is just a plastic stencil. It wasn't that exciting.
So I would have loved that. Yeah. I would have used that stencil.
So whatever. Everybody,
if Katie likes it, it's a lame toy. Just know it really sucks and you can't play with it.
Katie's like, ooh, I would like a McDoodler. Then they had this wrist wallet thing, which basically was a plastic wristwatch that opened. So you could probably put a penny in it. I don't know. Katie's like, I also could use that. Like, I can put my lunch money in there. They had an ID bracelet. There you go. There's another useful. They had a puzzle lock. Okay. I don't even know what that was. They had a spinning top. Also lame. Those are lame. And then they had, these were actually really cute. They had McDonald Land character erasers. I think there's a Grimace and
oh, that is cute.
It was cute, but they were like solid color. So those were the first toys. But also that same year, they had their first movie tie-in.
Wow, that was fast.
It was super fast. Hello, capitalism, right?
Yes.
First movie tie-in was Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
Wow.
Okay, and the toys were pretty cool. I didn't put any pictures of those on here. The box had the first like comic strip version of a movie on there. They also had some little games. They had their first movie-related toy. And this was the first time that they introduced like a set of toys where it changed each week and which one you'd get. So you'd keep on coming back, right?
Yeah.
So hashtag capitalism, but also yay, because it's fun.
I want to go. I want to get this week's toy.
I know. So that was just the door opening for more and more kinds of tie-ins. Like we talked about, we had movies, then they did TV shows, cartoon characters. Then popular toys like Beanie Babies. We'll talk about that craze. These are the types of toys that are the Happy Meal toys as Xennials.
Yes.
Remember, right?
Yes.
Katie, who doesn't even like toys, remembered Lion King.
That's so crazy.
Which they did have.
All right.
So, anyway, so 1987, actually, Katie, is their first partnership with Disney for Happy Meals.
Wow.
Just in time for the Disney Renaissance era. And I don't know if I wrote it down. It was when they were releasing classics. I think it was Snow White maybe.
Okay.
Or Bambi, because there's some in here. Remember when they re-released those in the theater in the 80s?
In the theater, yeah.
So that was the first time they had a partnership with Disney. So
that's so cool.
Which
it's wild that it was that far back too.
I know.
Because it wasn't even the Renaissance yet.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting.
But it was almost there. So like I said, we ate at McDonald's like almost weekly. No kidding. But it was still exciting. Like it wasn't like, oh great. It was still super exciting. And I can remember going there like the day that you knew a new toy was coming out. And I was so dang excited to like open that box. And let me tell y'all the utter disappointment that little child Dani felt when it wasn't the one I wanted or one I already had, or the absolute worst, they ran out completely of whatever series they had at that time, and you got an old leftover toy.
Ugh.
It's like, I don't want that. I want the Little Mermaid toys. Why are you giving me Bambi? Like,
yeah,
I already did this
2 years ago. I already have this one
because they trick you and put it in the recent box, And it'd be like, this ain't no Little Mermaid toy. This is Bambi. Anyways, so here's a list of just some of the toys during like mid to late 80s to the early 90s when I was like in my heyday. So because remember, I was born in 1980. And so like my kind of coming of age little kid time that I remember. I only did ones I remember because they were a bunch. I was like, I don't remember that. So I wanted to put ones that I remembered and talk about these because they're just kind of funny and silly. And it kind of will help us to kind of just chat about some of the things that were popular during those years.
Yeah.
So you ready? So,
yes.
Okay. First thing is a lot of these were on wheels.
What?
Like so many had wheels.
And now that I think about it, I think that remains true.
Yeah.
If my youngest loves her a Happy Meal toy.
Yeah, go Tegan. Go Tegan.
And a lot of them will just come like racing across the floor. All of a sudden, here comes, I don't know, a mouse or...
Like, why is it in a car?
Or
like some of these, it's like, why was this... You'll see. Like, it'll be like, why was that on wheels?
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway,
right.
a lot of them are on
looking at the
wheels.
pictures. Ooh.
So here we go. We're looking at the pictures and Katie's already excited, guys.
I'm smiling.
So she's like, I'm smiling. We're talking about toys. Yay. So in the early 80s, my least favorite toy I remember getting, because I do not care about these, but it was my husband's favorite, who, by the way, he's a Gen Xer. He was 1976. But we overlap on some of these. Hot Wheels. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hot Wheels were in the Happy Meals, and they were not just there in the early 80s. They came back pretty frequently. There was lots of Hot Wheels.
Pretty sure they still do.
Oh,
I remember Tegan getting one not too long ago.
I mean, it's a perfect Happy Meal toy, right?
Yeah,
it's the right size. It's fun. There's like a million different kinds. Except I didn't want that because I didn't play with cars. So I did not.
Not perfect for you, but
no.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was Hot Wheels. I do remember getting those. 1986 was the first Halloween Boo Bucket.
Wow.
You remember those, right? They still make them.
Still make them. Yep.
They still make them. So here's the thing. For those of y'all that don't know, you didn't get a toy. The Happy Meal box, instead of a cardboard box, it was a plastic container that looked like a jack-o'-lantern. The first ones only looked like jack-o'-lanterns with different faces, with the idea that you could, that your food was in there, had a lid, that you could reuse it for trick-or-treating.
Yes.
Which was also not really what you used it for, because you could not fit a lot of candy in it.
Yeah.
Right?
They got heavy real fast.
They did. They got heavy super fast. But they were so fun. Everybody wanted them. They're still super popular.
Yeah.
They made a recent comeback, again, playing on our middle-aged nostalgia, because we're the ones who have kids now. So
we're the ones spending the money.
Yeah, we're the ones spending the money. They started off, like I said, being orange, and they had different pumpkin faces. Then, in later years, they came out with a ghost, a witch, and then the ghost glowed in the dark.
I remember that one.
Everybody wanted the ghost when I was like
I remember
a
that
young
one.
kid, because that was the only one that glowed. Mm-hmm. Which, duh, of course.
But in my house, we couldn't get the ghost. We could only get the others because we couldn't do like undead things for Halloween because of my parents' belief, like religious beliefs.
Got you.
So I think the jack-o'-lantern was okay, but if we would have got the ghost, it couldn't come in the house.
And if it glowed in the dark, did that just...
Glowed in the dark was okay if it wasn't a ghost. Like, I think even if there was like a black cat or something, things like that were okay.
Okay.
It was it was the undead stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Even with a silly face?
Even with a silly face.
Okay. Well, so
Nope.
that was the Boo Buckets. They're still around. Same year, 1986, Berenstain Bears.
Oh.
Look how cute they are.
They are
There
really
was the
cute.
mom, the dad, brother, and sister bear. So Berenstain Bears were popular books at this time, but they also came out with a cartoon. Mm-hmm. I was also a huge TV kid, so every show I know from from the 80s, okay? They came out with a cartoon, and I remember watching it, and I loved it. And these toys, the thing that was kind of weird and unique about them was that they were soft. They were like furry felt.
I actually remember these.
Do you really?
I do.
Okay.
Yep.
But the weird part about it was it rubbed off real easy. So yeah, I do remember this because mine had like one eye and like, now I'm looking at the picture. Brother Bear is on a scooter, sister's in a wagon. And then to keep the wheels going Ma Bear and Pa Bear aren't on wheels, but they're pushing things with wheels. We have a wheelbarrow and I don't know, what is that, like a basket or something?
Like a shopping basket?
Shopping basket on wheels.
No, but you're right.
I know, wheels.
This is weird.
I know. But the Berenstain Bears, I had, so all the ones I mentioned today, P.S., I think I said this, I had all these.
Oh.
I had all these.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. I didn't put down any that I did not have. So, 1987, this was my all-time favorite Happy Meal toy, and I had a bunch of them. I loved it so much. 1987, I was 7 years old, okay? Muppet Babies came out with their cartoon this year, and they came out with 4 Muppet Babies little figures for Happy Meal toys. So you see the picture. Now, there's Kermit's missing something in this picture because they all had something with wheels.
Yeah. So who does the little horse belong to?
Fozzie.
Oh.
I think. Fozzie and Kermit were the only 2 you could take off. Piggy was in a car and Gonzo was on a tricycle. But Kermit and I think Kermit had like a wagon or a skateboard or something. Okay. I just noticed that I put the wrong picture on there. Anyways, I loved those toys. Me and my best friend Alicia, who lived down the street, she's the one who is in my New Year's picture with me, if y'all saw that.
Oh, was that the homemade baby New Year's?
I don't understand why we did that, but we did. Anyways, Alicia, if you're listening, shout out, girl. I know you remember these Muppet Babies toys. We played these to death. Do you at least remember the Muppet Babies?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I can't remember if I remember these toys or not, but I definitely remember the Muppet Babies. It was a cute show.
It was so cute.
It was cute.
Muppet Babies will make our dreams come true. See, I remember every theme song to every show I watched.
You love it.
Okay, that's not the end. We're going to have some more Muppet Babies toys in a second.
Yes.
But 1987, this is probably the weirdest toy I remember getting. All right. The best way I can think of to explain this next toy, which is called a changeable.
Okay.
All right. Is a transformer, but is McDonald's food.
Oh my God.
Can you see that in the picture?
Yes.
Do you remember these at all?
No.
All right. I had several of these. I remember the chicken nugget one, and I remember the hamburger one. I don't think I had the egg McMuffin or the soda. Maybe I did, but I remember I had the hamburger and the chicken nugget. So basically, y'all, these were plastic McDonald's foods that turned into a transformer of some sort. They must not have had the licensing agreement to call them Transformers. Because they eventually did have some Transformers toys later. But they were called changeables, and they were so weird. But I think this is one of the more popular collector items. Because it's so unique.
Yeah. I mean, I don't get it, but...
I know, but I remember playing with it. I don't know what I did with it because I was not a Transformer person.
Yeah.
But I had it, and I distinctly remember playing with it.
Aww.
Anyway.
I can see how they're memorable, and I could see why they would be big collectors. Yeah, because even was that a fillet of fish box? Oh, chicken nuggets.
No, it's chicken nuggets. Back when chicken nuggets came in styrofoam containers.
Well, that's what I was saying. It's a styrofoam container. So that's such a throwback too. And the cup is probably supposed to be styrofoam too.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, changeables, 1987. Then 1988, this one I totally remember. Again, Muppet Babies, but they were Christmas Muppet Babies. And they were little mini plushies.
They are really cute.
Aren't they cute? I was so here for them. Oh, they weren't full-size plushies. They were like, mini. And they had little Christmas outfits on. So Piggy had a little dress. Kermit had a little hat. And anyway, they were super, super cute. But the problem was you could not get the French fry smell out. I remember that. They totally smelled like French fries forever and ever. 1988, there were some really, I will say this, there were some really good Happy Meal toys in 1988. So 1988, remember DuckTales, the TV show?
Yes.
DuckTales, woo. All right. Again, here we are with wheels.
Oh my God.
We had 4 from DuckTales. They were Scrooge in his little car. You had Launchpad in his plane, Avi. You had Huey, Dewey, and Louie on a jet ski. And I think they were in a jet ski because in the intro to the show, I think they were on a jet ski, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Right? Actually,
I think so.
Maybe they were all in that. And then Webby, who was like their cousin or friend or something, she's on a little tricycle. Maybe they all were in these in the intro.
Maybe.
I'll have to look that up. I didn't think about that till I was talking. So yeah, DuckTales. That was one of my favorite cartoons at this point in time. Besides Muppet Babies. Mm-hmm. I'm not even going to ask you if you watched it. Katie's look on her face is blank stare.
I
know. It's like, yeah, great.
Well, I do know the DuckTales song somehow.
Well, now they revamped the show.
Yeah.
And they have newer episodes on streaming now. So maybe your kids have
watched those. But maybe. Yeah, maybe.
I know she's like, I would not have watched that. But maybe your kids have and you overheard it.
Right. Maybe.
I don't know. I could see Tegan watching DuckTales.
Oh, yeah. She would love it.
All right. So 1988, also Bambi. So again, re-releasing the Disney classics. These were little posable figures.
Oh, so cute.
They're really cute. You had Owl, Bambi, Flower, and Rabbit. No, his name wasn't Rabbit.
Thumper.
I
actually knew
Rabbit.
that one
That's
somehow.
Winnie the Pooh. Thumper. Yeah.
Thumper.
They're really, really cute, and they were like little posable figures, and those were my favorite kind of Happy Meal toys because they weren't on wheels. And you could, like literally play with them.
Yeah.
Like if you're stuck in a vehicle,
yeah,
you're limited on what your imagination can do. Okay.
Yes.
So, anyways, Katie's like, or even if you're not on wheels,
you're just stuck. Yeah.
Again in 1988, I told you there's so many good ones. So many good ones in 88.
Really good ones.
Oliver and Company, which I think is a very underrated Disney movie.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
You would really like it.
I'll have to check it out.
Why should I worry? That was why should I care? Huey Lewis.
Okay.
Is the dog. And it's just, again, these were finger puppets.
Cute.
So the little plastic, and I remember playing with these in the bathtub. Okay.
Oh, right. Those are good.
Perfect
finger puppets for the bath. Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, they were little finger puppets. It was Oliver the kitty cat, which we had an orange cat at the time. We named him Oliver after this movie. I don't remember the rest of their names. It was the poodle and then the two other dogs.
I don't know. They were dogs. They were puppets.
Watch the movie. It's great. It's underrated, so you need to watch it. Again in 1988, Fraggle Rock. Do you remember Fraggle Rock?
I do.
Down at Fraggle Rock. All right.
Yes.
Jim Henson can do no wrong with his creations. I loved these cars, and I loved the show. The cars, again, they're in vehicles, everyone. The four Fraggles,
so many wheels.
Their cars are like made of vegetables, but the wheels are cookies. Can you see that?
Yes.
Little chocolate chip cookies.
Oh my God, how cute.
Right? Red was my favorite Fraggle.
Uh-huh.
And she had a carrot car with cookie wheels. And Alicia also, I know you remember us playing with these, girl. Because they withstood the test of time. I played with those for a long time. And then again in 1988, Garfield came out with cartoon show. Mm-hmm. And they came out with 4 little Garfield guys. Again, what am I going to say?
There are so many wheels in this picture.
So tell us all the wheels that the 4 Garfields are on.
So this one's actually really cute. Garfield on a hot pink skateboard.
Yep.
With his little Hawaiian shirt on. Garfield in it's a car, I guess, but he's wearing a hat like he's a chauffeur.
A taxi cab or something.
Okay, maybe he's a taxi driver. That's kind of weird. Garfield on a tricycle. I feel like tricycles show up a lot.
No, there's so many tricycles.
As well as Garfield on a scooter, which also shows up a lot.
Yeah, and you know what? Now that I'm looking at that picture, Kermit on the Muppet Baby was on a red skateboard. I just remembered.
Oh,
that's what he was on.
Okay.
And you could take the skateboard guys off, but that was the only one.
That was the only one.
The rest were glued on there. I think I was also one of those kids who, like, if a figure was like stuck in something, I would always try and get it out and then break it and be really upset. So, yeah, like just
you didn't want to be limited to what it could do. It didn't have to be on a scooter, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
and then like I would make poor decisions and regret them. So Anyway, 1989. So remember, I had all these, y'all. If you're like, oh my gosh, this is so many toys. Yes, I'm not lying. I literally had all these. This is how much we ate McDonald's. Okay. So 1989 Chippendale Rescue Rangers TV show, which they just came out with a movie a few years ago.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And they had fun little vehicles, but again, on wheels.
Yes. There's like a spatula.
Yeah, they're like little homemade, and those were in the opening. I think they were like
of the TV show.
Of the TV show. Like, Gadget, is her name Gadget or Gidget? I don't know. The girls has a little spatula, little flying thing. The guy with the mustache, his name was Monterey Jack.
What?
I don't know why I remember this. I don't know. Like I said, they made a new version of a movie that came out on Disney Plus that Cooper loved. Came out like a year or two ago, and he watched it over and over. So that's probably why it's fresh in my head. Anyway, 1989 Disney Renaissance, flying. So Little Mermaid movie, the toys that came out were bath toys, appropriately.
Of course.
Flounder was like a little squishy water toy.
Okay.
So you like filled him with water and he would squirt water out of his mouth. Ursula, I don't remember what she did, and I think her and Ariel were supposed to float, but they wouldn't float correctly. They would like fall over. And then Eric was in a boat, and I don't know why I remember this, but I had so many Erics. I'm thinking he might, like, everybody wanted the other ones, and then he was like the leftover toy.
Oh,
I had so many Erics in the boats. I don't know why I remember that, because I would play with those
and
in the
it
bath.
wasn't because you asked for it.
No.
You just ended up with all these Erics.
Because his was the most boring toy.
It is a little boring, but it's Eric. He's so handsome.
But he's so cute.
And he's holding Sebastian.
He is holding Sebastian, correct.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I had a lot of Erics. I don't know. And then they had the McNugget Buddies, which I think I put that out of order.
What is this?
Now, these just came back because very, very recently I think it was around Christmas time, they came out with adult Happy Meals again. They had adult Happy Meals a while, like years ago, and then they came back again, and they had a new version of these, and they flew off the shelves of McDonald's.
What is happening?
Yeah. Do you remember these at all?
No.
Okay, so let me describe these. These are basically chicken nuggets dressed in costumes. I know. Ridiculous.
Not chickens.
Chicken nuggets, like a chicken
but like
nugget.
a brown blob in a costume with little like googly eyes.
And they were dressed up like a police officer, a fireman. I had a bunch of these. But they weren't my favorite because, yeah, like I don't want to play with a chicken nugget dressed as a cop.
It's giving Mr. Potato Head,
yes,
but not as good or fun. Because I don't think you can take the accessories off these. Can you?
Yes, you could. You could take the hats off and the belts, but that's it.
Oh, okay.
You could. So you could switch them around. Make it a firefighter cop. I don't know. But yeah, so these made a comeback. So I don't know. Definitely a memorable one. So then fast forward a few years, 1993, Barbie.
Yes.
Now, this was not the only Happy Meal toy that had Barbie, but this one had real hair, like Barbie hair, not plastic. Again, could not get the smell out. Now, I was 13 when these came out, but I still remember friends that would collect these because they had the different, you can see.
Yeah,
like,
there's a bunch of
all
them.
the Barbies. And this was when you could pick. They had Barbies and Hot Wheels at the same time.
I was going to say, this sign says Barbie or Hot Wheels.
Yeah. But what they used to ask you, which they don't do anymore, they would say girl or boy toy. Mm-hmm. Now they say Barbie or Hot Wheels or whatever. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
I noticed that one day when I took my youngest to McDonald's. They didn't say boy or girl. They said the toy.
Well, my daughter Tegan caught on to that when she was little because they were still saying boy or girl toy. I don't know what they've said recently. Generally, she's riding with my husband when she goes, but she caught on and she would say, "Get me the boy toy," because it always had wheels.
Yeah,
which she actually really liked.
Yeah.
She, in her opinion, it was better than the quote unquote girl toy.
Most of the time.
So now, I think at some point I would say, well, what are the options?
What are the options?
And they would say, oh, it's this car or this princess or whatever, and then she would decide from there.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
But also smart. So 1997, this was like a huge craze. It was the Beanie Baby era.
Oh, God.
All right.
Oh.
And so do you remember the Beanie Baby, like, craziness? Collectible?
Oh, yes. We were going to have to talk about this at some point for sure.
Yeah.
I definitely did have a few, but it was like the Barbie thing where I had Barbies not to play with.
Just to look at. Collect.
Just to have and collect. Yeah.
Again, I was an older teen during this time, but I still remember going to get Happy Meals just to get these because they were so cute. Like, I'd put them on the dashboard of my car.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. And
I love the flamingo.
Oh, I know. How cute is that?
So cute.
How cute is that? So that's
a good one.
The last Happy Meal toy I remember from the 80s and 90s. Now, I was legit in college, I think, when these came out. It was in 1998, the Tamagotchi keychains. Yeah. So do you remember the Tamagotchis?
No.
Or Gigapets?
Okay, yes.
Okay.
Like the virtual pets?
Yes.
Okay.
So Tamagotchi.
I remember that.
There was a Tamagotchi and then there was a Gigapet. They were different. We won't go into all that. But so these were also a super hot commodity because they were a smaller version of, like, I think the bigger Tamagotchi you could have. You'd have to, like, feed it and keep it alive. I remember when I was a freshman in college, like, my friends and I all had these, like, on our backpacks or whatever, trying to keep these. And of course, they all died horrible deaths because we were way too busy to feed a virtual pet. So,
yes. It's like, well, this is a good determiner of real life.
Again, I was 18 when these came out, and I remember going to McDonald's to get one. All right. So those were just some of the ones that I had. Okay. And this is not Happy Meal related. And I can't wait to see if you remember this, Katie. But all of this, like, looking back on pictures and stuff from Happy Meal toys made me remember when fast food restaurants used to sell collectible glassware. Do you remember this?
Now that I'm looking at this picture, yes.
Yes? Okay.
Yes.
So again, we ate fast food a lot, y'all. And we had a bunch of these. My sister and I, like, considered them, like, our fancy glasses.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, Burger King, McDonald's, Pizza Hut, Hardee's were just a few, that had these. And basically they'd come out with, like, a set of collectible glassware from, like, movies, TV shows, whatever. And you could buy these glasses with, like, the purchase. Like, I'm talking about a glass that you drink out of, not glasses that you wear in your face.
Oh, right. Yeah. I'm looking at a picture, so I got it.
So,
but for listeners,
to tell you, like,
drinking
a
glasses.
Glass, like, like made of glass, not plastic. It was made of actual glass. You could, like, buy one with the purchase of a meal for, like, 99 cents. Or you could buy a regular size soda and get this glass with it. It was, like, a special thing. So you collected them, like, one at a time, usually, until they came out with the next one. Or sometimes you could buy the whole set. So I could not figure out the how or why this was a thing. Like, I don't know.
You know what, though? People buy those Starbucks mugs.
Yes.
I do that when I visit places. I guess it's different than if it just said Starbucks because it'll have the city on it. But that's sort of a spin-off of that. It's like, well, you could get any mug from Miami. Right. Why don't you go to, like, the local restaurant in Miami and get a mug, but you get a Starbucks one? So it's similar.
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, it never had, from what the ones I remember, did not have the fast food logo on it at all. It was just the artwork of whatever theme it was. Mm-hmm. So I don't know why they did this. There must have been some partnership with whatever. I mean, we'll just go with our tried and true capitalism. But the ones I remember the most that we had, again, I'm only putting pictures of things that I remember holding in my hand. We had Return of the Jedi glasses, and you can see the picture there. I'll put it.
Those are so awesome.
The one I remember drinking out of constantly was the Jabba the Hutt one.
Oh, yeah.
But I remember these so much because I was not a Star Wars fan at the time. Everybody in my family loved it, and I was scared of it because I was young, right? I love it now, but I did not like it back then. And I also remember our ET glasses because it also scared me when I was real little. But, like, see those cups right there? Yeah, see those glasses? Those ET glasses? We had those.
Yes. Let me look at these.
Yep. The one with the stuffed animals where his face is, like, sticking out stuffed animals. That's the one I loved.
Oh, you loved that one?
I did because that one was so scary. Yeah. Okay. What scared me the most in E.T., everybody, was the scene where he was, like, in the beginning where he's running through the forest. That scared me. And then the testing. Yeah. Anyway, and I vaguely remember drinking Coke out of, like, a Smurfs glass and a McDonald's character glass. But I don't remember if that was my house or like my friend's house. So my sister's going to have to clear that up for me when I talk to her.
She's so nice, by the way, your sister.
She hasn't listened to the episode where I talked about how lovely and nice she is.
Okay, well, she can listen to this one first.
I know. She really is nice. And she'll remember, too, if we actually had those or if somebody else did. But that was just something, that was a side note of Happy Meal toys. You can find this glassware in all kinds. It's not really worth much. You can find this in thrift shops. So next time you're in a thrift shop, look around. I guarantee you'll find something. And if you're like, why is there a glass with like a transformer on it? It's probably because in the 80s, they sold it at Pizza Hut. Okay?
Yes, exactly. I mean, I totally remember these.
Yeah.
I don't think we had them. And I don't know why not. Because we ate at McDonald's and I don't think my parents would have been opposed to it. But I just don't physically remember having these at my house.
Yeah.
But I remember like seeing them and
they're
like
really
at friends'
fun.
houses and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I wish and they also did this with jelly jars. I don't know why I remember this. This just popped in my brain as we're talking. But anyway, everything was characterized in the 80s. So there you go. But anyway, that's it. That was just our fun little adventure on Happy Meal toys and then a side shoot of glassware.
Well, so tell me, when you were doing all this research, did you find any particular toys? You mentioned the, not Transformers, changeables or whatever.
Yeah.
Did you find any that are like really valuable, really rare?
I didn't really look up I didn't really like dive into that because that's a whole other like
that's another
area of the internet that I don't want to like collectible stuff. But I mean, I think most of it's worthless.
Yeah.
But I did notice that there were people on eBay and like selling stuff for ridiculous amounts of money, but I don't think that means that it's worth a bunch of money.
Right.
But my thought that I always think when I see stuff like that for sale is, why do people still have this? Because I'm not a collector. Yeah. My husband is, and I have friends that are. Yeah. And I just don't hang on to stuff like this. I'll hang on to some things, but like Happy Meal toys, I would not.
And I don't have the knack for knowing what will. Right. Like, I feel like collectors probably, your husband and your friends, I know we have some listeners of the show who are collectors. You sort of have like a knack or an inclination or you're sort of in that space. Whereas like, I guess I could just keep everything and maybe someday something would be valuable. But I just don't think, whereas like, my husband has boxes and boxes and boxes of baseball and football cards.
We have those all over our house.
And I keep saying we need to inventory the like they're organized, like, you know, they're all in one spot. I'm like, we need to inventory these. What if there's like really, really awesome stuff in here? But, you know, he claims there's nothing valuable in there and it would just be a waste of time. But we still have them.
You never know.
You never know.
I don't know. I mean, it's fun to look back on this kind of stuff, but I don't need to hold it in my hand. Like, it lives on in my brain. And when I see a picture of it, I'm like, oh, that was fun. But like, I don't need to actually have my Muppet Baby Happy Meal toy. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's fun to remember. I had so much fun with it when it was there and great.
I think that
lives on in my Xennial brain.
Think that is such value to that, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And just hang on to the things, very few things that have a sentimental value. For or if someone special gave it to you, but like probably no one special gave you a changeable McNugget box. But if they had, you know, that'd be another story.
I don't know.
Exactly.
Anyway, so like I said, I'm going to put all these pictures on our socials so you'll have a great time seeing what I'm talking about if you don't know. But I bet you, if you are a Xennial, some of these rang true in your memory box as well. So thanks for joining us on a Golden Arches walk down memory lane today. Thank you so much for listening to Generation in Between. Do not forget, share us with your friends, write us a review, follow us everywhere, go to our Patreon.
Yes.
All of the above. And until next time, we will see you later. Bye.
Bye.